Not me just sitting here waiting for my neighbors to stop with their lawn work or anything so I can video. Friends, hello! Welcome back to Amethyst Craftworks. I'm Samantha, and I've got noisy neighbors that hopefully you cannot hear. I don't know how good my mic is, so fingers crossed you cannot see, or excuse me, cannot hear the symphony of lawnmowers and leaf blowers and things that are going on in my neck of the woods. Because we are indeed in prime lawnmower season, and I just am getting tired of sitting here waiting for them to all be finished, because I'm excited today to talk to you about the Stitch and Scream. I've got an update here for you for June, as is the month that we are in, and I want to talk to you about it. I want to show it off to you. I want to chat about the yarn and all that good stuff. So, you know, if you're down for that, maybe get yourself some earplugs for my noisy neighbors, and let's chat about the Stitch and Scream. Now, I will link you down right below here in the description box to Altknot's channel, to Kayla's channel, along with links to their blog post, their stitch tutorial for the month of June, the explanation for what we're doing here, and all that good stuff, in case you're unfamiliar with the Stitch and Scream. But I've been having just an absolute blast with this project. Not only has it been a learning process, not only has Kayla been teaching me some new stitches, but I've also had a lot of fun, like, piecing colors together, working through what I want this to look like, trying to figure out what the whole purpose of this blanket is going to be, what my own inspiration is, so on and so forth. And I just, you know what, this is absolutely one of my favorite projects, and it's so simple. So if you want to join along too, even though we are halfway through the year, have at it, right? It is primed and ready for you to join in, and you can totally catch up. I guarantee you. Cross my heart, you can do it. And so, yeah, I'm going to show you my update for June here. Let me grab my squares, and we will actually get into it. Okay, so I went and grabbed my project bag for the Stitch and Scream, because you know what? I realized it's quite appropriate for June. It's quite appropriate for Pride Month, right? Happy Pride, by the way. Happy Pride. But I unfortunately cannot fit all my things in it, like my actual project in my project bag. I can only put the yarn that I'm working with actively as I'm working on it in the project bag, because sadly the bag is a little too small for this big stack of things that is on my lap here. So I know you guys, I know you are familiar with my Stitch and Scream color choices. These are all the previous months. I know, you know that I know, okay? So I'm not going to show you all of them, but I do have two to actually update you on. So the first one is this one, and I have started putting the little stitch marker. Can you even see it? It's so tiny. I've started putting the stitch marker in the very end, like the very last stitch, just so I can keep track of where the end is, where the top is, so I can actually show it to you properly. Because this was May. This was May. And I did lose Yarn Chicken. I did get more yarn. I have now since completed it. It is all done. Was this the crunch stitch? I think it was the crunch stitch. I love this stitch. It is very textured as I pet both the square and myself. It's very textured, and this yarn is very soft, and it just like combines into just like the most fabulous feeling square. I think by far this one is my favorite like feeling square. It's lovely. And so yeah, I did get more yarn to complete the dark red tweed square. So this one is now 100% completed. I said I would show it to you, and I did. I did finish it. But let's move on to this month's square, because this one is so much fun, you guys. So this, oh my goodness, look at that. Look at this baby. It is so much fun. I can't even. So, I will say, first of all, I did bring the yarn in here with me because this is a bundle of love. A bundle of love from Lion Brand. It's their pound of love yarn, but it's the variegated version. I did start to ball up what I had left, and then I was like, wait a minute, this is too much. This is too much to ball up. I'm gonna use the yarn winder that Tina so generously gave to me, instead of winding this by hand, because nobody got time for all that, right? But I did use about half, maybe a little more than half, of a bundle of love from Lion Brand. How many yards are in here? 688 yards, or 629 meters. There is 11 ounces in here instead of the pound of love, like this purple one here. Instead of a pound, instead of 16 ounces of yarn. Since it's variegated, it's got less yardage, as is always the case. This color is called Nightfall. So it's gray, black, and white. As you can tell, it's gray, black, and white. And it's short variegated stripes. It changes color pretty quickly. So almost every stitch essentially is a new color. Maybe every other stitch is a new color, which ended up just looking super fantastic. But I love this yarn. And I will also say, this square kind of left me a little perplexed. So hold on. Let me put this down. Let me wind up the waggly ends here. So, if you are familiar with Lion Brand Pound of Love or Bundle of Love, then you will know it is a 4-weight yarn, but it's a thin 4-weight yarn. I always say I am not super well-versed in the world of yarn quite yet to be able to say, that's definitely a 4-weight, but it's labeled a 3-weight. That's definitely a 2-weight, but it's labeled a 4-weight, or whatever. You get me, right? But I will say, I at least know enough to know that Lion Brand Pound of Love is thinner than Red Heart Super Saver. They're both 4-weight yarns, but this one is much thicker than this one, right? So I initially started the square with the amount of chains that Kayla teaches us in the tutorial, which again is down below. And it was huge. Like, this already is big. These squares are big. Mine are even bigger than Kayla's 23 inches by 23 inches. But it was like bordering on 30 inches by, 30 inches long. And I was like, wait, that's not right. Frogged it back. Did the same amount of chains again, but did it tighter. And then it was too narrow. So then I did foundation half double crochets, because that's what this stitch calls for, is half doubles. It's called the wide half double crochet stitch. And so I did foundation, like chainless foundation half double crochets, which gives you a much stretchier base than just a chain and then working into the chains. And that was fine, but then it was still too huge. So I ended up doing 63, I think, foundation half double crochets to get the same width as all my other squares, which are all set against my template, which is the January square, which is this red one, the spider stitch square. And I was so confused by that because this yarn is thinner and I did less stitches than I did for the spider stitch square, but it's the same size. I know it's hard to tell, but it is the same size, and I just, sometimes the universe plays tricks on your mind. Who knows? Maybe my tension was looser now than it was in January. Who really knows? But I will say, I did eventually get it, and I love it. I love the way this black, white, and gray yarn worked up. It's so beautiful. It pooled almost in the same kind of ways that the universal yarn did that I used, just the gray and black, how this one kind of pooled down here. And then you can tell where I added a new ball and lost the pooling and everything, right? But it's a pattern, like it made a pattern, right? So did this one. And it looks so cool. I love that down here, it's like, almost like TV static. And then through here, it's almost like plaid. And then up here, it's like zebra stripes. And then up here further, it's like static again. I think it turned out really cool. I love it. And I love the addition of white into the mix for my Stitch and Scream blanket. So it is now light red, no, not light red, bright red, dark red, gray, black, white. And is that it? Gray, black, white, red, dark red, and like a couple of shades of gray. There's a couple of shades of gray in here. I love it. I love this so much. And this is now the color sequence that I'm going to repeat for the remainder of the year. So July is going to go back to red. And then I think, oh boy, gray. And then the gray and black. And then the black. And so on, right? So that's my repeat now. I love this. And I have been shopping for the kind of matching comforter, like a red and black and white and gray kind of comforter for my bed to match this, because this is going on my bed when it is complete. I have been looking around. I haven't made a decision yet. I've got till December, so that's okay. But I have been shopping around for options because I haven't quite 100% decided what sort of design, what sort of pattern, just the colors. I just know it's got to be red and black at minimum. Then it can have gray and white and so on and so forth in it, but yeah. Excuse me. I could sit here and babble at you for hours about this Stitch and Scream. I also forgot completely to say I used my Cookies and Cream 5.5 hook. My 5.5 one is very hard to see, especially when my camera doesn't want to focus. Maybe you'll have to take my word for it that this is the 5.5. It is very hard to see because the engraving, the printing is right on the front, of course, right on the front here, but the front just happens to have a lot of white on it too, so it's very difficult to see. I did use this though, and so I've got the wood hook, the Borealis hook, the Pisces hook, the cherry hook, and now the Cookies and Cream hook. I may get another one. Is that, let's see, Pisces, Borealis, cherry, cookie, wood. That's 5. I could get a 6th one. A 6th one. Not a 6th one. Although a Sith one. Star Wars, anyway. I may get one of the new Gemini ones because have you seen the Gemini ones? Absolutely gorgeous. But I did use my Cookies and Cream Furls hook for this project, for this month's square. Just like I've been using a Furls 5.5 all year. Just like Kayla uses a Furls all the time too. And it may have ended up being an excuse to collect more, more of the Furls hooks, right? But I love them. It just glides. The wood hooks are fabulous. The resin hooks, I think, are my favorite. I haven't tried either the solid metal streamline or the Odyssey metal hooks, but we've got time for that, you know. And so, yeah, anyway, I got way off topic there, and I just started babbling when I think I was trying to let you go. So I will just do that. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for giving me a thumbs up, and thank you for subscribing today. I appreciate that so much, and I love that you were joining us here. And until I've got another update on the Stitch and Scream or some other kind of video, I will just see you later. Take care. Goodbye.